Imagine a man living a dream life, a loving family, a fancy job, respect from everyone. But behind the scenes, something dark was brewing. A secret so big, it could bring powerful people crashing down. This story isn't like most. It's a crazy roller coaster of shocking twists and turns that will leave you guessing until the very end. You'll see the good, the bad, and the downright ugly side of people. The stuff they hide no matter how rich or important they are. Hey True Crime fam, buckle up because Crimeco is back with another chilling case that'll send shivers down your spine. We all love a good mystery, one that keeps us guessing and peeking over our shoulders. Here at Crimeco, we're all about unraveling those tangled threads, bringing you the stories that haunt our collective memory. So if you're ready for a deep dive into the dark side, hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. Fuels our hunt for the truth. Now, grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and prepare to crack open a case that'll leave you saying, wait, what? All right, detectives, let's get cracking. London, a city of two faces. Grand buildings with fancy banks rubbed shoulders with forgotten corners where people struggled. It looked respectable on the surface with posh clubs lining the streets. But beneath the shine, a dark side throbbed. Money laundering, gangs, even rumors of the scary mafia. Right in the middle of it all was Blackfriars Bridge, an old bridge over the Thames River. It looked historic, but it had a dark reputation too. People had been making secret deals there for ages, shady business practically seeping from the stones. On a gloomy June 18th in 1982, that secret side of the bridge took a horrifying turn. People rushed across it on their way to work, not noticing the drama unfolding below. Just a few feet away, clues to a giant international mess were about to be revealed, a mess that would shake the entire world of finance. There, hanging in the morning mist, was a man's face contorted in terror. What followed would rip the cover off a web of lies and betrayal, a web that stretched from the streets of London, all the way to the people with the most power. Blackfriars Bridge had seen a lot, but this secret was going to explode. In Milan's fancy business district, there was Roberto Calvi, a big shot at Banco Ambrosiano, one of Italy's most important banks. He walked the halls with confidence, like a king in a fancy castle, but looks can be deceiving. Roberto wasn't all about suits and manners. He craved power and money like nobody's business, and that greed took him down a dark road. He knew how to play the game in Italy, where money and politics were all tangled up. He made friends with everyone, scary mob bosses, rich Vatican guys, whoever could help him get ahead. To everyone else, he seemed like a good family man, a respected dude. But whispers followed him about shady bank stuff, illegal deals, and even worse. Roberto had gotten himself mixed up with some bad people, way worse than he ever imagined. And when you make deals with the devil, you always end up paying the price. There was no escape for Roberto now. He was headed straight for trouble. Roberto Calvi was born into the world of banking in Milan, Italy in 1920. His dad worked at a fancy bank, and it seems like young Roberto was always destined to follow in those footsteps. Numbers and finance were easy for him, almost like a magic trick. After World War II ended, Roberto, all of 27 years old, landed a job at the respected Banco Ambrosiano. He was a quick learner and moved up the ladder fast. His life outside of work seemed good too. In 1952, he married Clara Garrio in a beautiful Catholic wedding. They had a son and a daughter, the picture of a happy family. But behind the scenes, Roberto wasn't so picture perfect. He craved more and more money. The fancier the car, the more exclusive the club, the bigger the house. He had to have it all. No matter how much he got, he always wanted more. He made secret deals with whoever could help him get ahead, no questions asked. Roberto also felt a bit empty inside, and that emptiness led him to a dark place, a secret group called Propaganda Dude. This group was full of shady characters, and it was the perfect fit for Roberto's ambition. From there, things went downhill fast. The nice family man with a good reputation was now drowning in secrets, lies, and bad deeds. There was no coming back from this. Banco Ambrosiano looked like a solid, trustworthy bank under Roberto Calvi. But whispers about secret deals had been going around for years. Then, in 1978, things blew up. The Italian government found out that billions of dollars had been illegally sent out of the country under Calvi's watch. Money laundering, fraud, it was a huge mess. They called Calvi the godfather of God's bankers, but now his reputation was shredded. He was caught smuggling $27 million out of the country and got a slap on the wrist, a suspended sentence, and a big fine. He even got to stay out of jail while he appealed the case. It seemed like he was untouchable, but things were closing in fast. Calvi was under a lot of pressure, so much so that he even tried to kill himself in jail. His family said he was innocent, a victim of powerful people playing a bigger game. Their words turned out to be pretty true. Just before disaster struck, Calvi wrote a letter to the Pope himself. In it, he warned that Banco Ambrosiano was about to collapse, causing a giant crisis that would hurt the church badly. It turns out the Vatican was also mixed up in Calvi's shady business. The bank was drowning in debt, billions of dollars in the hole, and a lot of that money came from the scary Sicilian mafia. Roberto Calvi had sold his soul for power and money, and now he was going to pay the price. His world was falling apart, and mysterious people were already planning to make sure he never talked about it. Banco Ambrosiano was collapsing and Calvi was trapped. Investigators, angry mafia bosses, even the Vatican, everyone he tricked was coming for him. He played a dangerous game, and now it was all falling apart in a spectacular way. Knowing he was in deep trouble, Calvi made a desperate move in June of 1982. He grabbed a fake passport and ran out of Rome under a fake name. First, he went to Venice. Then he hopped on a private plane to London with a quick stop in Zurich. Maybe England would offer him some kind of safe haven, a break from the storm that was about to hit. But Calvi wasn't exactly invisible. Powerful people with long memories were watching his every move, waiting for their chance to get revenge. On that gloomy London morning of June 18th, Calvi was all alone, with nowhere left to turn. What happened under Blackfriars Bridge is a mystery. Did Calvi really kill himself, a final escape from the wreckage of his life? Or was something more sinister at play, a final act of punishment by the very underworld he once made deals with? When people walking across the bridge stumbled upon Calvi's body, it was a horrifying scene. He was hanging from the scaffolding, pockets stuffed with pricks, in a way that seemed like a twisted message. It was a clear warning to anyone who understood this kind of dark code. The discovery of Calvi's body sent shockwaves through everyone. At first glance, it looked like suicide, a desperate way out for a man drowning in problems. But the strange details about the hanging just didn't add up. It felt too staged, too cruel. Calvi's family wouldn't believe it for a second. They were sure someone silenced him. Maybe the angry mafia he'd done business with, or even the high-ups in the Vatican, who were also tangled up in his mess. The options were scary. The first official investigation ruled it a suicide, but Calvi's family wasn't buying it. They hired a top lawyer, George Carmen, to take a closer look. In 1983, a second investigation happened, but it couldn't definitively say how Calvi died. For years, the truth stayed hidden, buried under a mountain of guesses and lies. But Calvi's family wouldn't give up. In 1991, they hired a special team of investigators, Kroll Associates, to crack the case once and for all. These guys were the best, and they spent 2 whole years combing through every single clue. What they found was shocking. Using fancy science stuff, they proved there was no way Calvi could have hanged himself. And other clues, like his clean shoes, pointed to a much darker story, a violent murder. This new evidence in the early 1990s was a game changer. Everyone, from high-ranking police to secret societies like the P2 Lodge, came under suspicion. The net was closing in on whoever was really responsible for Calvi's death. New evidence piled up, and in 2003, everything changed. Roberto Calvi's death was officially declared a murder, not a suicide. For the London police, Scotland Yard, it meant starting the whole investigation over more than 20 years later, but at least that they were finally on the right track. Looking closer at Calvi's last days in London, they found something creepy. He'd been staying in a fancy apartment just days before he died. And guess who lived there? A suspicious character named Sergio Vaccari, a small-time drug dealer who, conveniently, also ended up dead soon after. Even weirder, Vaccari had secret Masonic documents linking him to a shady group called the P2 Lodge. And get this, Vaccari's body had the same strange detail as Calvi's. Bricks stuffed in his clothes. It was like a sick message connecting their deaths. Both clearly linked to some dark Masonic secret society. Then things got even crazier. People from the criminal world started talking. A mafia snitch claimed Calvi's murder was a professional hit, punishment for losing the mafia's dirty money when Banco Ambrosiano went bust. This only made the whole thing more confusing. Was it an inside job by people Calvi knew? A ruthless payback by the rich and powerful in the Vatican Bank? Or maybe something even more bizarre, involving ancient rituals and secret groups? With every new clue, the mystery deepened, but finally, after over 20 years, the truth about Calvi's horrible ordeal seemed to be coming together. And just like the science guys said, it was way worse than anyone ever imagined. By 2005, things were finally heating up. A super secure courtroom inside a giant prison in Rome was all set for one of the biggest trials of the decade. On trial were 5 people, including a scary mafia boss named Giuseppe Callo and Licio Gelli, the creepy leader of that secret P2 group. This was a huge deal. Prosecutors wanted them locked up for life, saying they planned and carried out Calvi's murder to keep him quiet. For more than a year and a half, the trial was wild. Stories of greed, corruption, and backstabbing deals between the church and criminals filled the air. Secret bank accounts, illegal money moving, and everyone trying to screw everyone else. Nothing was off limits. The good names of giant organizations were hanging by a thread. The prosecution painted a picture of Calvi being targeted by the P2 group he once worked with. Why? Because he knew too much. He knew about all the dirty money the Vatican Bank, the mafia, and Callo himself were moving around. He was a loose end that couldn't afford to keep alive. But in a shocking turn of events, in 2007, all 5 defendants walked free. The judge said there wasn't enough proof. Even after all that time, people were outraged. It felt like a cover-up. Even though nobody was punished, the trial did one thing for sure. It exposed the dark side of the church. Billions of dollars in shady banking, all made possible by deals with the mafia and even weirder groups. Roberto Calvi's death was the explosion that brought it all crashing down. Even though nobody was convicted in 2007, Roberto Calvi's family wasn't giving up. They were like him, determined to unearth the truth. New investigators joined the case. They weren't afraid of anyone, not even powerful institutions. People who used to be on the inside started talking. Shocking details emerged. Everyone from Vatican money launderers to scary Camorra mafia guys were named as possible people who ordered Calvi's killing. The deeper they dug, the weirder it got. Secret societies, strange revenge rituals, giant criminal organizations using religion to hide their dirty business. For some people, death was the price you paid for knowing too much about the dark side of things. So, was Calvi trying to expose the truth about these powerful institutions and ended up getting killed for it? Or was he just a small player used by forces way bigger than him? We might never know for sure. One thing is certain though, the way Calvi was found hanging under Blackfriars Bridge tells a story. The look in his eyes says it all. He found out something terrible, something so evil it couldn't be made public. No matter how hard they try to change the story, the way he died speaks volumes. Roberto Calvi, the God's banker, paid the ultimate price for accidentally revealing a horrible secret. He died trying to expose the evil that hid behind a mask of religion. Alright guys, before you dash off into the night, don't forget to hit that like button. Lets us know you're digging the content, and that keeps the creepy cases coming your way. While you're at it, smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. You don't want to miss our next dive into the mysterious unknown. Thanks for joining us on this journey. We'll see you on the flip side for another mind-blowing case. Until then, stay curious.